Hello, English learners. Welcome to Sonic Sage English. My name is Mia, and today you are starting something very special. This is not just a normal English lesson. This is the Advanced English Vocabulary Masterclass. Before we begin, I want you to do 3 things. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and write in the comments. Tell me which words are new for you, and share your own sentences. When you write, you practice. When you share, you grow. Have you ever wondered why, even after years of studying English, your brain still freezes when you try to speak? You know the words, you know the grammar, but when it's time to talk silence, it's not your fault. Your brain is trained to think in your own language first. But today, we change that. Today, we will start training your brain to think directly in English. Imagine this. You wake up in the morning, you stretch, open your eyes, and your first thought is not in your native language but in English. I am awake. I feel good. Sounds simple, right? But that one small change can transform how your brain works forever. You are not memorizing English. You are living it. You see, fluency isn't about knowing hundreds of grammar rules. It's about making your brain respond automatically in English without translation, without hesitation. Think of it as a workout for your mind. The more you train it, the stronger it becomes. So today, let's begin the training. Take a deep breath. Forget about perfection. Forget about mistakes. You are about to build your English brain, a brain that listens, thinks, and speaks in English naturally. And to do that, the first step is simple but powerful. We must stop translating and start thinking in English. Let's move into that right now. When you translate every sentence in your head before you speak, your brain becomes a slow machine. You stop and think, what is that word in English? And by the time you find it, the conversation has already moved on. You hesitate, your confidence drops, and your brain feels tired. This is the number one reason most learners can understand English, but can't speak fluently. Translation is a habit your brain has built over years, but the good news is that you can change it. From this moment, stop translating. I know that sounds difficult, but it's simpler than you think. You are going to train your brain to connect directly to English words and ideas, not to your first language. Let's begin with something small. Imagine you have a pen in your hand. Instead of thinking in your native language first, think, "This is my pen." Say it out loud. Look at the pen and say, "This is my pen." Do you see what happens? You are not translating. You are connecting the object directly to English. This is the key. Your brain learns faster when it connects language with experience. When you look at your cup of coffee in the morning, say to yourself, "My coffee is hot." When you open your window, say, "The air feels cold." These are small thoughts, but they are powerful. You are building new pathways in your brain, connecting English words with real things around you. This is how a child learns their first language, not by translation, but by experience. You can do the same. You don't need long sentences. In fact, short ones are better. When you start small, your brain relaxes. It doesn't panic. You can think clearly. Try this. As you walk through your home, describe what you see in English. The door is open. The floor is clean. I am walking. Don't worry about grammar. Don't worry about mistakes. The goal here is to make English automatic, not perfect. You see, translation is like a middleman. It slows you down. Every time you translate, your brain has to do double work first, understanding the meaning in your own language, then searching for the English version. That process makes your speech slower and less natural. But when you train your brain to think in English directly, there's no middleman. The thoughts flow naturally from your mind to your mouth. You might ask, "But what if I don't know the word?" That's okay. When you can't find a word, describe it with simple English. For example, if you forget the word knife, you can say a thing I use to cut. The goal is communication, not perfection. Every time you describe an idea instead of stopping, your brain learns to stay in English. You are building fluency even when you don't know every word. At first, your brain will resist. It will want to translate because that's what it's used to. But if you stay consistent, it will adapt. Think about when you first learned to ride a bicycle. You felt unbalanced. You fell a few times, but then one day, your body just understood the movement. It became natural. Thinking in English is the same. You train, you repeat, and one day your brain will just switch automatically. There is something magical that happens when you stop translating. You begin to times feel, times the language. English stops being a school subject and becomes a real voice in your head. You hear phrases, rhythm, and emotion differently. For example, instead of memorizing "I am tired," you start to feel it, the soft rhythm, the meaning that connects to your body. You start to notice the music in English. To help your brain transition, surround yourself with easy English input. Listen to short podcasts, watch simple videos, or read small stories. When you understand English directly without translation, your brain gets used to thinking that way. Every bit of input you get strengthens your ability to think in English. Another powerful way to stop translating is to connect English with your emotions. When something surprises you, say, "Wow." When you feel happy, say, "I'm so happy today." When you feel stressed, whisper to yourself, "I need to calm down." These emotional connections make English part of your real life, not just a classroom activity. If you can, change your inner voice, the voice you hear in your mind throughout the day, the one that plans, complains, or dreams. That voice can start using English. When you think, "I should go to the store," say it in English. When you're hungry, think, "I want something to eat." At first it might feel strange, but soon it becomes natural. You'll be surprised how much English you already know when your thoughts start using it. Consistency is everything. Thinking in English is not something that happens in one day. It happens through small, daily habits. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. Every sentence you think in English is one step away from translation. Remember, translation belongs to your past learning style. Thinking in English belongs to your future fluency. The goal is not to speak like a textbook, but to think like an English speaker. To do that, you must create your own English world, a world where English words, sounds, and ideas live inside your daily thoughts. Now that your brain is learning to stop translating, it's time to feed it with the right material, the kind of input that shapes your understanding, strengthens your instincts, and fills your mind with natural English patterns. Let's explore how to give your brain the input it needs to grow. When you start thinking in English, the next step is to make your thoughts clear, short, and simple. This is where real fluency begins. Long, complicated sentences can wait. For now, focus on small sentences, the kind of sentences you can use anywhere, anytime, without pressure. These small sentences are not only easy to remember, they are powerful because they create a direct link between your mind and the English language. Let's imagine a normal day. You wake up. You open your eyes. Say to yourself, "I am awake." You stretch and think, "My body feels good." You stand up. "I am standing." You walk to the bathroom. "I am walking." You look in the mirror. "I see my face." These are short, simple sentences, but they are training your brain to live in English. Many learners make the mistake of waiting until they can make long, perfect sentences before speaking or thinking in English. But that's like trying to run before you can walk. Small sentences are your first steps. They build the foundation of fluency. When your brain gets used to these small sentences, you start to think faster, react faster, and speak more naturally. Try this simple exercise. Pick 5 short sentences that describe your morning. Repeat them in your head as you do each action. I wake up. I brush my teeth. I make coffee. I drink it. I feel ready. Say them slowly at first, then a little faster, until it feels natural. Don't just repeat the words. Connect the words to the action. Feel the meaning. This connection between word and action helps your brain remember faster than memorization ever could. The secret is consistency. You don't need to study for hours. You just need to repeat small sentences during your day. While cooking, say, I cut the tomato. I add salt. The food smells good. When you're driving, think, I see the road. The light is green. I turn left. When you're walking outside, say, the air is fresh. The sky is blue. I feel happy. Every small sentence you say builds your English reflex. You might think these sentences are too easy, but easy is exactly what you need. When you work with simple sentences, you remove the fear of making mistakes. You let your brain relax and focus on rhythm and sound. That's when English starts to feel natural. Think of it like music practice. A musician doesn't start with complex symphonies. They start with simple scales, repeating them until their fingers move automatically. Your brain is doing the same thing with English sentences. Here's another tip. Use your surroundings as your English classroom. You don't need books or screens. The world around you is your teacher. Look around and describe what you see. The window is open. The floor is clean. My phone is on the table. You can even describe what you feel. I am tired. I am hungry. I am excited. These are your real-life English lessons, and they are available to you every moment of the day. Small sentences also help you think faster in real conversations. When someone asks, "How are you?" your brain doesn't need to translate or build a complex answer. It will automatically find short, natural responses. I'm fine. I'm happy today. I'm a little tired. Over time, your brain will start building longer sentences naturally. But everything starts from these small ones. To make your small sentences more powerful, add emotion or detail. Instead of just saying, I am happy, try, I am really happy today. Instead of, the sky is blue, say, the sky is so bright and blue. These tiny changes make your English sound more natural and expressive. Don't be afraid to play with the language. The more you use it, the more flexible your brain becomes. Here's a small mental trick you can use. Choose a time each day to think only in English for 5 minutes. No translation, no pressure. Just small, clear sentences about what you're doing or what you see. If you make it a habit, 5 minutes will soon become 10, then 20, and soon you'll notice that English is no longer a subject you study, it's a language you live. When you start using small sentences, something interesting happens. You begin to notice patterns. You hear the rhythm of English, the flow of subject, verb, and object. You'll notice that many sentences share the same structure. I am walking. I am eating. I am learning. This pattern repetition strengthens your understanding. You don't have to memorize grammar rules. Your brain learns them naturally by hearing and saying them over and over again. If you want to make this practice even more effective, try whispering your small sentences out loud. When your ears hear your voice in English, it reinforces what your brain is learning. You create a feedback loop. You think in English, you say it, you hear it, and your brain records it. This is how your language reflex becomes automatic. Don't worry if your sentences sound too simple or repetitive. Remember, even native speakers use short sentences most of the time. When they talk about daily life, they say things like, I'm hungry. It's cold outside. I need coffee. Fluency isn't about using difficult words. It's about using simple words naturally, without stopping to think. Your goal is to reach a point where English becomes the language of your thoughts, and small sentences are your bridge to that goal. Every time you say a small sentence in your mind, You are training your brain to think in English. Over time, your thoughts will start forming naturally in English, even before you realize it. Now that you can create small, natural sentences and link them to your actions, it's time to expand the way your brain absorbs the language. You will need to give your mind something new, fresh sounds, natural expressions, and real English rhythm. To do that, we must explore the power of input and how it can completely transform the way your brain learns English. Your brain is like a living machine. It grows stronger when it receives the right kind of fuel. That fuel is language input, the English you hear, read, and watch every day. The more quality input you give your brain, the more fluent it becomes. Every word you listen to, every sentence you read, every voice you hear in English is food for your brain. And just like your body, your brain becomes what it eats. If you feed it healthy, simple, and natural English, it will start to think and speak in English naturally too. Think about how children learn their first language. They don't start with grammar books or vocabulary lists. They start by listening to their parents, to songs, to the world around them. They hear words again and again until their brain begins to understand patterns without even trying. The same thing happens for you. You can train your brain the same way, no matter your age. So how do you feed your brain with English? Start with things you enjoy. When learning is enjoyable, your brain stays active, alert, and ready to absorb. If you like stories, listen to short English stories or podcasts with clear, slow speech. If you like music, choose simple songs and follow the lyrics. When you listen to a song repeatedly, your brain starts to remember the rhythm, pronunciation, and sentence structure without effort. You are learning through enjoyment, not memorization. When you listen to English, don't worry if you don't understand everything. Understanding every word is not necessary. Focus on the general meaning. The more you listen, the more your brain learns to recognize sounds and patterns. Over time, your listening becomes faster and smoother. You begin to predict what comes next. That's when your brain starts thinking in English automatically. For example, imagine listening to a simple cooking video. The speaker says, "I cut the tomato, I add salt, I mix it well." Even if you don't understand every word, you can see what they are doing. Your brain connects the words to the actions. That connection builds memory stronger than any vocabulary list. You don't just learn the word cut. You feel what it means. This is real learning, natural, visual, emotional. You can do this with anything that interests you. Do you like sports? Watch a short English video about your favorite team. Listen to the commentator's words. He passes the ball, he shoots. It's a goal. You don't need to understand every detail. Just feel the energy, hear the rhythm, and follow the story. Your brain is learning patterns of real, spoken English, the same ones you will later use when you speak. The key is to make English part of your daily life. Set aside time each day to listen. It doesn't have to be long, even 10 or 15 minutes is enough. You can listen while you cook, clean, walk, or drive. Let English flow into your ears naturally. The more your brain hears it, the more familiar it becomes. When choosing what to listen to, pick something at your level or just slightly above it. If it's too easy, you won't grow. If it's too hard, you'll get frustrated. Look for material where you understand about 70 to 80%. That way, your brain stays comfortable but still challenged. You should also listen to voices with clear pronunciation. Podcasts made for English learners are a great start. As you improve, move to more natural content, real conversations, news clips, documentaries, or YouTube channels about your hobbies. The more variety you hear, the more flexible your listening becomes. Music is another powerful tool. Songs help you feel the rhythm of English. When you sing along, your mouth and tongue practice pronunciation naturally. Try choosing a song with simple lyrics. Listen once to enjoy it, Then read the lyrics while you listen again. Soon, you'll find yourself singing the lines without even trying. Your brain loves repetition. That's how it memorizes patterns unconsciously. Reading is also a kind of input. When you read, your eyes feed your brain with sentence structures and vocabulary. Start with short, simple texts like graded readers or online stories for beginners. Don't stop to translate every word. Instead, guess the meaning from the context. Each time you understand something on your own, your brain makes a new connection in English. Make English input emotional and meaningful. Choose topics that make you feel something: curiosity, joy, excitement, even sadness. Emotional learning lasts longer because it activates more areas of the brain. For example, if you love travel, watch travel vlogs in English. Imagine being there. Listen to how people describe places. This city is beautiful. The air feels warm. The people are friendly. When you connect words with real emotions, they stay in your memory longer. Here's an effective technique: repetition with awareness. Watch or listen to the same video several times. The first time, just enjoy it. The second time, focus on understanding. The third time, repeat some sentences out loud. You'll be surprised how quickly you start to remember phrases naturally. This is how your brain builds fluency, through repeated exposure, not through pressure. Sometimes you might feel bored or distracted. That's normal. The trick is to mix your input sources. One day you listen to a podcast, another day a song, another day a short video. Keep your brain interested. Learning works best when it's varied and enjoyable. It's also important to pay attention to the sounds of English. Listen carefully to how native speakers connect words, where they pause, and how their tone changes. Mimic the rhythm. Don't just listen for meaning, listen for melody. English has its own music, and when you hear it often, your pronunciation and flow will naturally improve. As you give your brain more input, you'll notice something incredible. Words and phrases will start appearing in your mind when you need them. You'll remember sentences you never tried to memorize. You'll find yourself understanding things faster and speaking more smoothly. That's your brain doing its job, transforming the input into natural output. The more you listen and read, the more confident you'll become. You'll stop fearing English. It won't feel like a foreign language anymore. It will feel like a part of your thinking. That is the power of input. It fills your mind with the patterns and rhythm of real English. Once your brain is full of English sounds and expressions, the next step is to let it out. You've been feeding your brain. Now it's time to make it speak. Speaking is where everything you've absorbed begins to take shape. So now, let's discover how to use what you've learned and turn input into real, confident English speech. When you listen to English, your brain takes in sounds and patterns. But when you watch English, your brain takes in meaning through movement, images, and emotion. This is why watching is such a powerful way to learn. When you see someone performing an action and hear the English words that describe it, your brain builds a deep connection between sound, image, and idea. You don't just hear "cut the tomato," you see it, you feel it, you understand it without translation. That connection makes the language real, and it's what turns English from a school subject into a living experience. When you choose what to watch, the most important rule is this: watch what you enjoy and what you understand. If you like cooking, watch cooking videos. If you love sports, watch short clips or news reports about your favorite team. If you enjoy travel, explore English travel vlogs. When you're interested, your attention stays longer, and your brain absorbs naturally. The goal isn't to force yourself to study. The goal is to connect your learning with your curiosity. You don't need long or complicated videos. In fact, short videos are often better because your brain can focus completely. A 3-minute video about making pancakes or about a football match can give you more useful English than a 2-hour movie full of difficult dialogue. Short, clear, and interesting. That's the secret. As you watch, don't try to understand every word. Relax. Focus on the actions, the expressions, the rhythm of speech. When you see someone saying, "I cut the tomato," look at the action. When they say, "I pour the milk," watch how they do it. You are not just learning vocabulary, you are connecting words with real-life movement. This kind of visual memory is extremely strong. It's the same way children learn their first language by watching and listening at the same time. Here's a technique you can use. Watch a short video 3 times. The first time, just enjoy it. Don't pause, don't translate. Let your brain get used to the sounds. The second time, watch with subtitles in English. Read as you listen. Notice how the words sound and how they look. The third time, turn off the subtitles and try to repeat a few sentences out loud. For example, if the video says, "I add sugar," say it too. Match the voice, the speed, the intonation. When you repeat with emotion and movement, your brain memorizes faster and deeper. You can also use your favorite scenes to train your speaking. Choose a short clip from a movie or a YouTube video. Watch it carefully and repeat the lines as the characters say them. Copy their tone, their emotion, their rhythm. This practice helps you understand not only what the words mean, but how they feel. Because English is not just a language of words, it's a language of feelings and sounds. When you connect English to emotion, something magical happens. You start to remember naturally. Think about your favorite song in your native language. You probably never studied its lyrics, but you remember them perfectly because they made you feel something. English works the same way. When you watch something that makes you laugh, smile, or feel inspired, your brain stores it easily. Emotion is the glue that keeps the language in your memory. Let's take another example. Imagine you watch a travel video. The speaker says, "The sun is rising over the mountains." You see the light, the sky, the view. That moment creates an image in your brain. Next time you hear sunrise, you will not just remember the meaning, you will see it. This visual connection gives your English power and depth. You're not learning from a dictionary. You're learning from real experience. You can also turn everyday watching into English practice. For instance, if you like cooking videos, make them part of your routine. Watch one while preparing your own meal. Listen as the cook says, "I mix the flour," and repeat it while you do the same action. When you synchronize language with real movement, it becomes automatic. Your hands move, your mouth speaks, your brain connects it all together. That is how fluency grows through experience, not memorization. Sometimes learners think they need to watch only educational content, but that's not true. Anything that keeps you engaged can be educational if you pay attention to the English. Watch short comedy videos, travel documentaries, sports interviews, or even animated clips. What matters is that you feel connected to what you watch. You are more likely to remember language from a funny scene or an inspiring story than from a grammar lecture. As you watch, notice how native speakers use their voice. Listen for their rhythm, their stress, their pauses. English has a natural melody, it rises and falls like music. Try to feel it, not just hear it. When a speaker says, "That's amazing," you can sense the excitement. When they say, "I don't know," you can feel the hesitation. Understanding tone and emotion will make your English sound more natural and expressive. Here's a simple daily exercise. Choose one short English video every day, no more than 5 minutes. Watch it once for fun. Then watch again and write down 3 or 4 sentences you like. Speak them out loud and imagine using them in real life. For example, if you hear, "This looks delicious," say it the next time you see food. If you hear, "That's incredible," use it when something surprises you. Every time you use these lines, you reinforce them in your memory. The best learning happens when English becomes part of your world, not something separate. When you watch a video about your interests, you aren't just learning vocabulary, you are connecting English to your life. Over time, you will stop saying, "I study English." You will start saying, "I live in English." Watching also helps you develop intuition. You'll begin to sense when a sentence sounds right, even before you know the grammar rule behind it. This natural instinct is what fluent speakers have. They don't think about grammar, they feel it. You can reach that level too, but it starts with watching, feeling, and connecting. If possible, turn your environment into English input. Change your device language to English. Turn on English subtitles when watching movies in your native tongue. Even small moments of exposure count. The more English you see and hear, the more familiar it becomes. You start to predict words, anticipate meaning, and your brain becomes comfortable thinking in English. And remember, you don't need to study every time you watch. Sometimes just relaxing and enjoying English content is enough. Your brain learns even when you're not forcing it. The key is consistency. Make English part of your everyday entertainment. When learning feels natural, you'll never get tired of it. As you keep watching, listening, and feeling, your mind fills with patterns, sounds, and real-life language. Soon, your brain will be ready for the next big step, turning all that English input into your own voice. It's time to speak, to express yourself, and to let your brain use what it has absorbed naturally. Now that your brain has been filled with English through listening and watching, it's time to let that English come out. This is the moment when input becomes output, when all the English inside you turns into your own words, your own sentences, your own voice. Speaking out loud is the key that transforms passive learning into active fluency. You've heard enough. You've seen enough. Now, it's your turn to speak. Most learners wait too long to start speaking. They think, "I need to know more vocabulary, or I'll speak when my grammar is perfect." But waiting is the biggest mistake. Fluency is not something you achieve after studying. It's something you build by speaking, even when you're not ready. The truth is, you will never feel perfectly ready, and that's okay. You don't need to be perfect to speak. You just need to start. Start small. Speak simple. Speak often. That's the formula. Look around your room right now. Describe what you see. I see a bed. The bed is white. I see a chair. The chair is old. I have a lamp. The light is bright. These small sentences are not childish. They are training. Every time you say a word out loud, your brain builds a stronger connection between thought and sound. You're not only thinking in English now, you're hearing your own English voice. When you speak, don't whisper in your mind. Let your voice come out. The physical act of speaking helps your tongue, mouth, and muscles get used to English sounds. English has different rhythms and movements than other languages, and your mouth needs to learn them like an athlete training for a sport. The more you practice out loud, the more comfortable your body becomes with the language. If you're alone, that's actually a good thing. You can speak freely without worrying about mistakes. Talk to yourself in English. Describe what you're doing as you do it. I'm cooking dinner. I'm cutting the vegetables. The smell is amazing. When you speak this way, you are connecting English directly to your real actions, your real world. You're building what we call language instinct, the ability to speak without translating or planning every word. At night, before you sleep, you can talk about your day. Today, I went to work. I talked to my friend. I was tired, but it was a good day. You can even talk about your plans for tomorrow. Tomorrow, I will wake up early. I will go for a walk. I will study English for 15 minutes. These short, daily reflections are powerful. They don't just improve your English. They train your brain to think automatically in the language. One of the best ways to make speaking practice more effective is to repeat what you hear. If you listen to a podcast, try shadowing. Shadowing means you listen to the speaker and repeat what they say at the same time, matching their rhythm and tone. Don't worry if you can't keep up at first. With time, your brain will catch the flow, and you'll start to sound more natural. This method improves pronunciation, speed, and confidence all at once. You can also practice storytelling. Choose a simple topic, your favorite food, a movie you watched, or something that happened today. Speak for 1 or 2 minutes about it in English. Don't stop to correct yourself. Don't think about grammar. Just let the words come. Imagine you are telling the story to a friend. The goal is not accuracy, it's fluency. Every time you speak without stopping, you train your brain to think and respond faster. It's also important to use emotion when you speak. English is a language of feeling and tone. When you say, "I'm excited," let your voice sound excited. When you say, "I'm tired," let your voice sound tired. Expressing emotion helps your brain remember the words because emotion activates stronger memory. Speaking is not just about the words, it's about expressing life. You might feel shy at first, especially if you think your pronunciation isn't perfect. But remember, perfection is not the goal, communication is. Even native speakers make mistakes. What matters is that you're using English to express yourself. Confidence grows with repetition. The more you speak, the less afraid you become. You can make your speaking practice fun by pretending to be in different situations. Imagine you're at a restaurant. "Hello, I'd like a coffee, please." Imagine you're traveling. "Excuse me, where is the train station?" Imagine you're meeting a new friend. "Hi, my name is Julia. Nice to meet you." Practicing these situations helps your brain prepare for real conversations. When the moment comes in real life, you'll know exactly what to say. Another great exercise is to record your voice. At first, it might sound strange to hear yourself speaking English, but it's an excellent way to improve. Record yourself describing something simple. Then listen and notice how you sound. Are your sentences clear? Is your pronunciation easy to understand? Don't criticize yourself too harshly. Just notice and adjust. Each recording is progress. Each word is a step closer to fluency. Consistency is more important than length. Speaking for 5 minutes every day is better than speaking for 1 hour once a week. Make it part of your routine. You can speak while walking, driving, cooking, or even in the shower. The more your brain hears your own English voice, the stronger it becomes. Here's something powerful to remember. Your brain learns by doing. You can read about swimming all day, but you'll never learn until you get in the water. The same is true for English. You can study vocabulary and grammar, but you'll never speak fluently until you open your mouth and use them. Mistakes are part of the process. Every mistake is proof that you're learning. Sometimes people say, "But I have no one to talk to." You don't need anyone else to begin. You can be your own conversation partner. When you see something, ask yourself questions and answer them. What is that? It's a book. What color is it? It's blue. Where did I get it? I bought it last week. You are training both sides of your conversation, skills asking and answering. And when you do have opportunities to speak with others, don't overthink it. Listen, respond naturally, and keep it simple. The goal is not to impress anyone. It's to communicate and connect. Real English lives in real communication. As you continue speaking out loud every day, you will begin to notice a change. Your sentences will flow more smoothly. Your hesitation will disappear. The voice in your head will start speaking English even before you open your mouth. That's when you'll realize that fluency isn't something far away. It's something you're already building. One word, one sentence, one day at a time. Now that you've learned how to release English through speaking, the next step is to strengthen your consistency. It's about patience, daily effort, and the right mindset. Let's explore how small, steady actions can turn practice into permanent progress. The truth about learning English is simple but powerful. It takes time. There is no shortcut, no magic formula, no overnight success. Fluency is not a race. It is a journey of patience, practice, and progress. Every day that you listen, speak, and think in English, you are training your brain. Even if you don't see results immediately, something is happening inside you. Your brain is building connections, patterns, and reflexes. You may not feel it today, but one day you will suddenly notice that words come faster, sentences flow easier, and you understand more than ever before. That is progress. The most important thing is consistency. You don't need hours of study each day. You just need a small amount of focused practice, 10 to 15 minutes of quality English time. Think of it like brushing your teeth. You don't brush for hours once a week. You do it a few minutes every day. The same rule applies to your English. Small steps done daily create massive results over time. Many learners give up because they feel impatient. They study hard for a few weeks, then stop when they don't see quick improvement. But language learning doesn't work that way. It's not like filling a glass of water, it's more like growing a plant. You can't see the roots forming underground, but they are growing every day. If you keep watering and giving sunlight, one day the plant appears above the surface. Your English is that plant. You must keep giving it small doses of care, even when you can't see the results yet. And when you make mistakes, because you will, everyone does, don't treat them as failures. Mistakes are signs that your brain is learning. Each mistake tells your mind what doesn't work, guiding it closer to what does. When a child learns to walk, they fall again and again, but each fall teaches them balance. The same happens with English. Every wrong word or awkward sentence is helping you build fluency. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. Be afraid of staying silent. Be kind to your brain. Learning a language is one of the most complex things your brain can do. It's not only learning words, it's rewiring how you think, how you hear, how you express yourself. That takes energy and time. If you get tired or frustrated, it's not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of growth. When your brain struggles, it means it's building new pathways. Take breaks, rest when needed, but never quit. Progress comes to those who keep going, even slowly. To stay motivated, focus on your small wins. Maybe today you understood a podcast without subtitles. Maybe you remembered a new phrase during a conversation. Maybe you felt confident saying something aloud. These small victories are worth celebrating because they show that you are improving. Don't wait until you're fluent to feel proud. Feel proud now, every time you take one step forward. It also helps to set simple, realistic goals. For example, tell yourself, I will listen to 10 minutes of English every morning, or I will speak out loud for 5 minutes each night. These are small goals you can actually achieve. When you accomplish them, your brain releases a sense of reward, which keeps you motivated to continue. Success in language learning is built one small promise at a time. Another secret to long-term progress is variety. If you do the same exercise every day, you might get bored. Change your routine from time to time. Listen to a new podcast, watch a different YouTube channel, read a short story, or talk about a new topic. When you give your brain new material, it stays active and curious. Curiosity keeps learning alive. Sometimes, you might feel like you're not improving at all. You'll have days when your mind feels slow, or you forget words you thought you knew. That's normal. Learning doesn't move in a straight line. It moves in waves. Some days you move fast, some days you feel stuck. But even on those slow days, you are still learning. Your brain is organizing information, connecting dots, and preparing for your next leap forward. You just have to trust the process. Think about any skill: playing an instrument, cooking, or driving. At first, everything feels difficult. You have to think about every move. But with time and repetition, your body remembers automatically. That's exactly how English works. When you repeat small habits every day, your brain starts to handle English automatically. You'll reach a point where you no longer think about the grammar. You'll just speak, naturally and confidently. One of the best ways to strengthen patience is to enjoy the process. If you see English learning as a chore, you'll burn out quickly. But if you make it part of your lifestyle, something you do with interest and joy, you'll stay consistent without effort. Watch shows you love in English, sing along with songs, read about topics that excite you. Let English be the bridge to things that inspire you. The more pleasure you find in learning, the easier it becomes to keep going. Also, surround yourself with English in small ways. Change your phone's language settings, follow English accounts on social media, or think in English when you write your shopping list. These small exposures make English feel natural, part of your daily environment instead of something separate from your life. It's helpful to remember that every learner you admire once stood where you are now, confused, unsure, and afraid of making mistakes. The difference between those who succeed and those who give up is not talent, it's consistency. They kept going. They practiced when they didn't feel motivated. They believed that small progress every day was enough. And it was. If you ever feel like giving up, look back at where you started. Remember your first English words, your first sentence, your first moment of understanding something without translation. You've already made progress, more than you probably realize. Use that as proof that you can go further. There will be days when you feel tired or bored, but on those days, do something light, watch a funny video, listen to a song, or review old lessons. The goal is not to study hard every day. The goal is to stay connected to English every day. Even when you do very little, you are still keeping your brain in motion. Progress is not always visible, but it is always happening. Trust your process, trust your effort, and trust your brain. Every word you hear, every sentence you speak, every mistake you make is a step forward. Be patient with yourself. You are building a new version of your mind and English-speaking mind. And as you continue this journey, there is one final piece to remember. Your mindset shapes your success. The way you think about learning changes everything. Let's explore how to build the mindset of an English speaker, one that helps you grow with confidence and enjoy every moment of your learning journey. Now that you've come this far, take a moment to realize how much you've already accomplished. You've learned that fluency doesn't come from memorizing rules or chasing perfection, it comes from training your brain step by step. You now understand that thinking in small sentences, listening to meaningful English, and speaking to yourself are not simple exercises. They are the building blocks of transformation. These three habits work together like gears in a machine. When one moves, the others follow, and soon your entire mind begins to think and live in English. Your English journey truly begins when you stop seeing yourself as a student and start seeing yourself as a communicator. You are not just learning English. You are becoming someone who expresses ideas, emotions, and thoughts through a new language. Every time you think in English, listen to something you enjoy, or speak even a single sentence, you are shaping this new version of yourself. Let's look at how these three steps work together in real life. Imagine you wake up in the morning. Instead of reaching for your phone or scrolling through messages, you start your day with English thoughts. Good morning. I feel rested. I'm ready for today. You go to the kitchen. I'm making coffee. It smells strong. You are thinking in small sentences without even realizing it. Your brain starts the day in English mode, and that one habit alone can completely change how comfortable you feel with the language. Then, as you get ready, you listen to something simple in English. Maybe it's a short podcast, maybe it's a YouTube video, or maybe it's just a song you love. You're not studying, you're feeding your brain. You're allowing English to enter your ears naturally, without pressure. Over time, this habit creates a rhythm in your mind. English begins to feel like background music that your brain understands effortlessly. Later in the day, you can practice output. Speak to yourself as you go through your activities. I'm opening my laptop. I'm checking my emails. I'm a little tired, but I'll take a break soon. You might sound funny to yourself at first, but every time you do this, you are programming your brain to respond in English automatically. You are turning knowledge into reflex. These daily moments, small, simple, and consistent, are what make the difference. You don't need to wait for a classroom, a teacher, or a perfect situation. Your real classroom is your life. Your teachers are the sounds, images, and actions around you. Your practice happens every time you think, listen, or speak in English. Remember, fluency isn't about speaking fast. It's about speaking freely, without fear. The more you use English in your real world, the less you'll need to translate in your head. Slowly, your mind begins to replace your first language reactions with English ones. It's like changing the operating system of your brain. You don't notice every update happening, but after a while, everything runs smoother. The journey ahead will have ups and downs. Some days, English will flow effortlessly. Other days, you'll feel stuck or tired. On those days, go back to the basics. Think small sentences. Listen to something light. Speak even one line out loud. The most powerful learners are not the ones who never struggle, they are the ones who keep moving forward, no matter how small the step. If you want to speed up your progress, surround yourself with English as much as possible. Change your phone's language to English. Read short social media posts or captions in English. Watch movies or shows with English subtitles. When you create an English environment, your brain starts to believe that English is part of your normal world. And once that happens, learning becomes effortless. You should also create personal connections with the language. Think about what English means to you. Maybe it's a way to connect with people from around the world. Maybe it's for your career, your studies, or your dream to travel. When you have a purpose, your motivation becomes stronger. You're not just learning words, you're building a bridge to new opportunities, ideas, and friendships. Make English your companion, not your subject. Talk to it, listen to it, live with it. When you read something interesting, pause and think, how would I explain this in English? When you see something beautiful, describe it in your mind using English words. When you feel an emotion, joy, frustration, excitement, find the English expression for it. The more personal the connection, the deeper your learning becomes. And don't forget to celebrate your progress. Every time you notice an improvement, maybe you understood a conversation, maybe you remembered a new phrase, acknowledge it. Say to yourself, I did that. I'm improving. Confidence grows from recognition, not from perfection. You're not competing with anyone. You're becoming the best version of yourself in a new language. As you move forward, continue combining input and output in balance. Input gives your brain knowledge, listening, watching, reading. Output gives your brain strength, speaking, writing, expressing. Too much of one without the other will slow you down. The perfect balance is when your learning feels like a conversation with yourself and the world around you. You might not notice it day by day, but with time, something amazing happens. The sentences in your mind will no longer come from translation. They will come directly from thought. You will start dreaming in English, joking in English, feeling emotions in English. At that point, English will stop being a foreign language. It will become a natural part of who you are. The most successful learners are not those who study the hardest, but those who stay connected every day. 10 minutes of real English daily is more powerful than hours of memorization once a week. Because real learning happens through rhythm, through small, repeated actions that teach your brain, this language belongs to me. Think of this as the beginning, not the end. From today, your journey is not about studying English, it's about living in English. You've already built the foundation. Now it's time to keep walking forward, one thought, one word, one conversation at a time. As you continue, remember the 3 guiding lights that will always move you forward. Think in small sentences, listen and watch what you love, and speak with courage, even when it's just to yourself. These 3 steps will carry you further than any grammar rule or textbook ever could. They will give you not just fluency, but confidence, connection, and freedom. Your English journey has already begun. Every sound you hear, every sentence you form, every mistake you make, they are all proof that you are growing. Keep going, keep speaking, keep thinking in English. The path ahead is endless, but so is your potential. And every single day, with patience and practice, you are getting closer to the fluent, confident English speaker you were always meant to become. Before you go, I have one small request for you. If today's lesson helped you, if you learned something new, or if you simply enjoyed spending this time improving your English, then don't forget to support this channel. Click the like button right now. It really helps this video reach more learners around the world. And of course, subscribe to Sonic Sage English so you never miss a new lesson. When you subscribe, you join a growing community of English learners who are learning to think, speak, and live confidently in English every single day. And one more thing, share this video with a friend who is also learning English. Because when we learn together, we grow faster, and we stay motivated. So, like the video, subscribe to Sonic Sage English, and let's keep learning together. Your English journey is just beginning, and I'll be here to guide you every step of the way.